Life on Paper. I am Briana, and thank you so much for joining me. I am joining the group May I Scraplift You, and I'm super excited about it. There is a group of very talented people that will be listed below with their videos. Make sure to check everybody out. And so we each get to choose who we would like to scrap lift, and it's the second Saturday of each month. I asked my lovely friend Moira if I could scrap lift her. And so I will have that, her layout up in the corner there. I pulled out, well, let me show you the pictures first. So these are pictures from my friend Becky's daughter's wedding. I've done a couple layouts of her wedding. These are not the wedding colors, but I thought they looked super nice with my husband's shirt. So this is what we got. And I found I have this going into my stash, this paper pad that's well loved and used. It's Poolside by Colorbach, and I believe it's from Walmart. And so I grabbed out 3 papers, and one is this one I grabbed out of my stash. It's thin. It came from a paper pad I pulled apart, so that's one. But then 3 of these from this pad. And again, these are thin, but that's okay. I'm going to grab a white sheet of paper to use as the background. And then this is what I'll be using. And then I'll go into my stash to grab some embellishments to put on the page. So let's get scrapping. I feel like I got a really slow start. Even though I had those papers picked out, I had to really think of which way I was going to use them. After doing a sketch every day of the month of last month, I took a little break for a couple of days and had to get back into it. But this paper, I'm trimming off the end. It's not a branding strip, it's the end because it was in a paper pad. But I knew I wanted this as kind of the biggest piece, that the most focal point. And then I tried to figure out what one did I kind of want to put behind the pictures, and then you didn't see very much of. So it was this more greeny color. So I trimmed that down. I think it's about 3 inches, whereas the big focal point is more like 4 inches. And I left them 12 inches until I get them on the page and figure out really how long do I want them. This blue I knew I wanted as the 4th square, so it's 4 by 4, and it's going to be the back to the title. And I just wanted something that wouldn't distract from the title, so that's why this blue piece worked well there. And I'm not going to use much of this patterned paper. I grab out my Martha Stewart scallop border, and I love these Martha Stewart punches. It punches so super nice. Now you're going to see a couple spots where I didn't get it perfect, but that was more user error than anything. So I go ahead, I punch it first to make and then I'll trim it. And I use it in the full 12 by 12 length as well until I figure out how long I want it. And so then I lay it out to kind of visualize, does this look right? And the green one I'm going to fold up so I know where to trim it on my trimmer. And I make sure it's straight. And then I flip it over so that, because you can see the fold mark nicer on the back side than the front side. And once I know that length, I decide this piece is going to be 11 inches because it needs to be a little bit from the top and a little bit from the bottom. And once I see that's good, then I go ahead and do the scallop the same. So the scallop is at 11 inches. And here's where I just trim off kind of my mistakes. You're never going to see it, but I like to see like which end looks better, which end looks worse, so that I know which side I'm trimming off. These both came out of my stash. I think the stickers were from the dollar store. They were too short, so, and maybe a little bit the wrong color, so I didn't use those. But the blue, and I'm not sure where I got the blue border from, but it's adhesive. So once I get the papers down, I'm going to stick that blue border down in between that piece I just glued down and that piece that I'm gluing down now. just because I could, really, just to give it a little extra layer, something that Moira didn't have in hers, but and just another layering piece to give it some interest. And then I get the greeny color paper down, and then I decide where do I want my pictures, and always looking at the sketch. And I didn't want the outer part or the inner parts of the pictures to line up with that green piece there, so I made sure they were offset. And the way I determined which way those were going to go, the two pictures on the left coordinate together. It's me writing in their sign-in book and writing a message, and then the one on the bottom is actually what I'm writing. The photographer came over and took those pictures, and she also took the picture that's on the right top corner. And so that was the most important picture to me, was the picture of myself and my friend Becky and my husband there. So that's why that one on the right side, I wanted the two on the left together, but I wanted that one on the right of the focal point. So that's how I decided where to put them. Even though the one on the left is probably where your eyes go first, the one of me and my husband, it just didn't flow right to have that picture there, because I would have moved the title, and I wanted the title to stay where it was. Now, after that, it's a bunch of me picking out of my stash and things just to try. You'll see me throw down a lot of items that aren't going to make it on the page, but I go through, like, all my stuff is separated into color. Or I shouldn't say all. Most of my stuff that's not in a collection is separated by color. And so this is me going through each piece and ruling it out or not. And then the ones that I think I might want to use just get laid on the page. And I do a lot of picking through, and oftentimes I know I'm taking a lot more than what I need, but I like to take more and whittle things down than to go through everything, figure out I don't have enough, and then have to go through it a second time. And I find a lot of good pieces. So this is one of my longer videos in that I do leave in a lot of this me going through every piece, just so that you can see my process once. Sometimes I'll do some of this off camera and you don't get to see this me going through everything, and I kind of have things picked out before I get started. But this one, sometimes I'll sit there too long thinking before I turn on the camera, so I just wanted to get started and do everything on camera. So what I did was I pulled everything off that I had thrown onto my layout, and then I put in this little tray. So then this is really where I'm deciding what's going to make the cut and where is it going to go before I start gluing anything down. I know I want a flower in each cluster, and there's 3 of them, and so you'll see a flower in each cluster there. And then I found these peacock feathers that were from close to my heart, have been in my stash forever. And I only had 2 of them, but to me, they matched the colors, and it also made me think of, like, really old time when they would dip a feather into the ink and write. So I thought that was, no one's ever gonna know that, but I was super excited to find the ampersand. Becky's daughter's name is Andy, and kind of her signature, her symbol is the ampersand because it's and even the right color, so I knew it had to get on this layout. It was so perfect. And that sticker, it says memories on top, and then it says and then the sticker below says hopes and dreams, which I was like, how more perfect than people writing like messages to the newlywed couple is that? So I knew that had to get on there as well. Here I am. There's a little bit of satisfaction into ripping off the backing all in one piece to that lovely little border. It doesn't stick, so I end up using my glue, but it goes down super nice and I think straight, and it was easy to trim. But yeah, I'm not sure, like I said, I'm not sure. It might have been Doodlebug, like, I don't know, but it not sticky any longer, so that's okay. Glue works well. And then I know it's going to stay put there and not go anywhere. And then I just trim her down to the size that I want it once I get it stuck down. I stayed pretty true to Moira's sketch I'd have to say. I went more of a monochromatic, which I like to do. I'm about color, and uh, I've done more than one monochromatic layout. This chipboard flower is I only have one. Those pieces, they look like acrylic. They're not hard though like acrylic, but they are from Ellie Studio as well. And so I have 3 different pieces. I think I have one for each. Yeah, I do. I have one for each cluster, and I wanted to get those onto the layout for certain. So they two of them backed flowers, and then this one is just like a little bit of a cluster base, I guess. So I took this label that ends up in each one of the clusters and behind the title as well, and used that to cover some of the glue on that piece there because it is see-through. And then the peacock feather goes upside down just to tuck in there. And then this flower that goes in this cluster, it was a printable. I think it was Simple Stories printable online. I found a long time ago, and it had the circle, kind of a tracing around it, like a circle written out, and I it was kind of taken away from it, and so I did trim that out. But that is the flower for that cluster, and then each cluster also has like a little circle. I've got planner stickers, so 2 round planner stickers go in each cluster, and then you'll see what the other one ends up with. But a label ends up underneath that side. I end up getting some glue on the picture. Why I didn't cover it up with a flower, I'm not really sure. Of course, looking at it afterwards, doing the voiceover, it's very easy to say, put it over the adhesive, but I didn't think of that. So, but it does go down there and it looks fine, and I wiped off the adhesive the best I could. There goes that other round sticker. And just making sure that, there's nothing else left over there that wouldn't go good. Oh, I'm looking for a round piece to go up there. And I've got these My Mind's Eye pieces. It's from a collection called One Fine Day. I think I got it from Scrapbook Generation on clearance. And boy, I really want to use one of these round. It's almost like a brad, but it's adhesive. It doesn't have the backing on it. It's got a metal outside. They're different colors. There's one that has a flower on it. I'm just really wanting to use it. It just doesn't feel right. I come back to it again. Here, this one, that wasn't going to work anywhere, even though it was the right colors. And then I go looking around on my desk, and I find these Ellie Studios hearts, and they're in the right color of blue, so that gets to go into 2 of the clusters. And I don't know why, but once I got that blue heart down, that the aqua color looked better up there, the circle, so I used it. And then I go to get, I think the last piece is to get the title figured out. So I bring in the labels to back that, and it works really well because it gives it that definition, because otherwise the Hopes and Dreams is on a blue background. So I put down the label, I put down memories, and I don't know where I got that memory stickers from, but it works perfectly there. Glue that down, and then it's so little on there, so I do end up going with that blue label with the hearts. It is Ellie Studio, and I decide just to trim a little bit more off the blue so that you can still see the label on there, so that it kind of coordinates with the memories, because the memories has the same label behind it. So that makes me happy. And I get that glued down, and then put the label sticker that says Hopes and Dreams, and that goes a little crooked, but I didn't notice that until the voiceover either. I use a foam tape to get the ampersand popped up, and that's it. Look below to see everybody who's playing along. I hope you guys have a fabulous day, and I'll see you again soon.